Hi guys, my name's Alex. I'm a trampoline gymnastics coach from the US. You might know my athletes, Tomas Mink, Caleb Cave, Aaliyah Raga, Kai Lawson, Rafi Pikoski Christensen, Alex Cole, who's retired now. And I just wanted to give my opinion and my input, I guess, on Double Mini Tramp World's takes and his effects on athletes and the community. First, I just want to say that I don't particularly think I have a relationship with him. I've had conversations with him over the years, but I wouldn't necessarily say that we are anything more than acquaintances. I think there are some times where I appreciate and respect his passion for the sport, but more often than not, I disagree with his opinions and his choices in how he communicates with his audience. There's been a few situations where I have wanted to say something, do something, whatever, in response to something he has posted or said, but in the interest of not stirring up drama and all that sort of stuff, I've just always kept my mouth shut and haven't really got involved in anything. However, at this point, I think it is worth it for me to give my opinion, and I'm not going to tell athletes or coaches what to do or who to follow or unfollow or anything like that. Me as a coach, I like to instill independence in my athletes. I give them my opinion and let them make the choice about their gymnastics and what they're going to do. So that's how I'm going to do this also. I'm going to give my viewers the opportunity to make their own choices regarding this individual, but I think it would be irresponsible of me not to use the platform that I've built to give my opinion. So why does my opinion have any validity here? For a few reasons. The first of which is that I have been training successful athletes in this sport, both domestically and internationally, for years now. You can look them up if you would like. It's not really about me. Why does my opinion matter? Because I've been training athletes with a positive mindset for years, and they're always successful. So this abusive rhetoric that he and maybe other people that I've been seeing spout is just, that's not the only way to win. It's not. And I would argue that at times it might be better to have someone who has been emotionally supported through their career for them to be successful. In conversations with my elite level athletes, when we have talked about Double Mini Tramp World in the past, we have kind of candidly and almost jokingly compared him to Regina George from the movie Mean Girls. Because he is a bully, and honestly, he has, in my opinion, a very cult leader vibe that is concerning. It's very concerning when a huge chunk of your viewer base are minors, and they are going to take what he is saying for the gospel and potentially make decisions about their career, their gymnastics, their skills, their safety, based off of what he is saying, when it is not always true, and it's not clear cut like that. DD is not the only answer to being successful. And even if the goal is high DD for some athletes, they should be doing it with proper progressions and with the guidance of an experienced coach. And if that is not available to them, then they have this toxic idea in their head that they are never going to be successful because this dude on the internet told them so, which is a huge problem. And I'm sure there have been athletes who have been injured because of his guidance. I have spent the last few months actually taking screenshots of some of his takes and rhetoric and stuff like that is just incredibly toxic in my opinion. And the reason why I've screenshotted them is because I like to advocate for my athletes and help them be aware of scary situations that they might be exposed to. And the double mini and trampoline gymnastics community on Instagram is huge and very supportive, an amazing place to be. So a lot of these kids who are 11, 12, 13 years old, and they're seeing these ideas, and then it is driving their sport in a toxic way, in my opinion. It's great to be driven and have goals and want to strive to be better, but I think this idea that you're not good enough if you're not doing a triple tuck if you're a guy, and you're trash if you're doing a half out pike as a woman is crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. And you can have opinions that are your own and express them in a meaningful way without it hurting other people. I've had conversations with multiple people about how I do think that women in double mini could be doing more. Does that mean that I think that our medalists at the World Championships don't deserve them because they're not doing more? No, I absolutely don't think that. I'm new to having a female double mini athlete. Aaliyah moved to my gym only a year ago. And so I am used to having male athletes, which is completely different. And so I haven't really watched much women double mini in the first place. And so probably the last 12 months is when I've only been watching women's double mini. And so I really watch a lot of these girls doing half out mounts, and I'm seeing them and thinking, wow, they could be working on trifts. But again, that's not me thinking that what they're doing isn't good. And I'm not thinking that they are not worth being there. I just personally think that they physically could be doing more, right? So I feel like part of his issue is that he has these very polarizing opinions, and the way that he communicates them to other people is inappropriate and not at all good. And to use his platform to, honestly, the only thing that I can think of is shit all over kids. Like, that's literally what he's doing, is not okay. There are just some red flags with the way that he presents himself. He definitely often reminds me of somebody who would be like a toxic dude in a Call of Duty lobby or something like that. It just doesn't make sense when you are an adult with 100,000 plus followers and a huge chunk of those are children. It's just not appropriate. It's not a good example. There's definitely a way where you can be funny, make memes, whatever, that are still funny and still appropriate. And I think he often misses the mark and comes off as like a frat leader or a cult leader, where there's like a lot of like hazing type of stuff that is implied or just flatly there. And again, I have coached very successful athletes, and it is not because I am telling them that they need to do this or they're off their team, they need to be successful or they're not worth it, or they have to meet this DD threshold or whatever. Like, I have never said any of those things to my athletes ever. So it's dangerous and it's not okay. And I'm constantly nervous by the things that he posts and how many people are perceiving them in a way where it's like their self-worth is in doubt, or they think that they really need to do a triple right now in order to prove themselves, or whatever it may be. There's so many repetitions and drills and all that type of stuff that goes into the hard DD passes that you will see my athletes competing. And they are certainly not doing those DD passes because Double Mini Tramp World told them to. He is not a motivating factor in Tomas's career. And there have been times where he has said things that are super narcissistic and are like, what? There have just been times where he has said things about Tomas, his career, his social media, whatever, that make it seem like he is somehow responsible for how successful Tomas is, which is not even kind of the case. And then he has also talked about how social media is somehow responsible for Tomas's successful career as an athlete, which is absolutely insane. And so, I mean, these are just brief examples, like personal examples of things that are problematic for, like, the things that he says. But it concerns me, right? I'm very concerned because I don't want athletes getting hurt. I don't want athletes thinking that they are less because their personal best is not accepted by one of the biggest accounts in the sport. It's not fair. Everybody starts somewhere. It's a learning experience. It takes time to grow. It's not a simple matter of one day you just start doing triples. There's fear involved. There's mechanics involved. There's air awareness involved. There's just so many things involved in doing harder DD skills that I think he makes it a very simple matter of this is what you should be doing, and it is your responsibility to the sport to be doing these things, and it's not that simple, and children are going to think it's that simple when that's not the case, and then they're going to think their self-worth is going to be down the drain, and their confidence is going to be down the drain because of his rhetoric, and that's a huge problem, in my opinion. The last thing I really want to touch base on is his approach to make Double Mini Olympic, which in like the overall picture of things is great, is amazing. Like, I love that, right? I love that he's very passionate. He's trying to stir up passion in the community and all that sort of stuff. But again, like, he just kind of misses the mark in how he does it. Firstly, like, it's not a simple matter of posting a reel every day in Double Mini in order to make Double Mini happen. It's not that simple. An Olympic sport becomes an Olympic sport by being competed in a minimum number of countries for both men and women. There's a whole bunch of factors that go into an Olympic sport being Olympic, and he has this super aggressive, like borderline abusive way of making it seem like it is an individual athlete's fault for not posting on Instagram, and it's just their fault. That's why it's not an Olympic sport, when it's not that simple. And there's more than just Instagram in order to reach people. I don't know. It's just very concerning the way that he, again, like the hazing, the bullying, bullying people into posting reels, even if they're not good enough, you should still post them. And it's like, it's someone's personal choice whether they decide to post a successful routine or a not successful routine or whatever. And I don't know, it's super aggressive, and honestly a little weird the way that he has this like personal vendetta or like responsibility for double mini being an Olympic sport, and the way that's going to happen is through social media, which honestly I don't think is possible. You would have to be reaching out to countries specifically to get more countries competing in the sport, and it's expensive and not worth it to a lot of countries because companies are not going to support your team for going to a non-Olympic sport, world championships that's far away and not Olympic. It doesn't work towards the Olympics. So to sponsors, that's going to seem like it's not going to work. And a lot of foreign countries a lot of countries in general use sponsors in order to pave the way for making it a feasible thing to go to world championships, go to qualifying events for the Olympics or for world championships or whatever. So it's really, again, an oversimplification and placing of blame that's super toxic and not okay. With that being said, if there are any athletes or coaches who have been affected by the things that he's saying, and you're feeling like you are not meeting the standards of the sport or whatever, and you would like help with a specific mental problem that your athlete or you personally are going through, or how do I get from this mount to this mount, or what's the next step for me to get, this is my goal, what's the next step, what do you suggest, like whatever. I'm totally fine with giving my opinion if I can help in any way. I think that our community here on Instagram is really close-knit, has great camaraderie, whatever, and again would love to help in any way. I am really big on helping athletes through mental struggles in their sport. So if I can help on that front, just let me know. Hopefully this helped. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I will suggest be careful. Always be wary of things that you see online, of people's opinions and how they word them and how they affect you. Try to protect yourself. Until next time.